Okay, welcome back to another episode of Mastering You, the Lifestyle Performance Podcast. And we've got an awesome one today. We have Jen Mckenzie, the owner and founder of Lunar Spirit Wellbeing. So Jen is a spiritual coach, mentor, holistic therapist, and Master Reiki practitioner. And so Jen's also the first interviewee that I've had that I don't know Jen. And so we're just meeting for the first time, and it's really cool just to do this, just to sort of hook up with people that have the same wavelength in terms of health and well-being and mindset. And obviously this podcast is Mastering You, so anything goes really. And so Jen, welcome to the podcast, and tell me a bit about yourself. What got you into by the way, did I get everything into your intro there, or was there anything else I've missed out?
I also teach Reiki and gravity yoga.
Fantastic. Gravity yoga is the one where people are literally flying around in the air, right?
No, that's yoga trapeze. So
okay.
No, gravity yoga is a mat-based practice for targeted mobility and flexibility.
Wow.
So where you have where we stay in the pose for like 2 to 5 minutes. So you're getting that flexibility gains. Really good for tight hips, hamstrings, lower back.
Okay. Sounds like I need some of that at the moment because my back is in a bad place.
Really good for runners, people who do CrossFit, like weight training, just to get that stretch in the muscle. Yeah. It's really
fantastic. Good. So tell me what it is you kind of do. Who do you help, and what sort of got you started on this journey?
Okay, so my business is Lunar Spirit Wellbeing, and so under that umbrella of Lunar Spirit, I do holistic therapies. I am a coach, so a life coach. I help people on a spiritual pathway through like a spiritual awakening, about highly sensitive people who want more out of life, and kind of don't really know how to get there, and bringing them back into alignment to create abundance and inner peace. And I also work with people with anxiety disorders and addictions. And then I am also, like I said, a gravity yoga instructor. And I am a Reiki master and teacher. So I hold workshops teaching people Reiki to level 1, 2, and 3. And I hold spiritual workshops, including meditation. We do work around the moon cycle, so the full moon and the new moon. And so it's all based around mind, body, spirit, well-being. So taking care of the whole person and looking at all aspects of their being, and really getting to the root of where people have blockages, or they're holding on to these limiting beliefs, deep emotional trauma that maybe they're unaware of or they are aware of. And it's really getting right to the deep root of what is going on, rather than just skating over the surface of it. So yeah, that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. But yeah, it hasn't really always been that way. I've always been very spiritual as a child. I would burn incense, find feathers. I would be like a bit hippie-ish, I suppose, a little bit alternative. And that's like, it's my mom. I'm sure my mum was a bit like that, so it's always been in me. And she used essential oils on us as kids instead of conventional medicines. So I've kind of grown up around that holistic lifestyle. So it wasn't like a new thing for me. It's always been there. But I had a bit of a turbulent time as a teenager, and kind of went down the wrong path, and really ended up in a bit of a mess with alcohol and drugs. So from about the age of 14, I found myself drinking heavily, taking drugs, and my emotional well-being was not in a very good place. And I tried to commit suicide. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
My first suicide attempt was at 15 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
So
was
we're
off
going to go straight in there with the deep stuff here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can go on any different tangent. There's so much, you know, when you're talking about health, well-being, holistic therapy, like so much. So that all happened in the space of around a year. Things started to kind of, the alcohol and the drug abuse.
I didn't have a very good time at school. I was bullied at school by people who were supposed to be my friends, and I became very introvert and very shy, but naturally I'm a very outgoing person. It gave my confidence a huge knock. So I discovered alcohol, and it became my superpower. I was like, wow, I can actually be anybody I want to be with this stuff. And I just wanted more and more and more of it. And it became a problem for me. And that sort of was up and down. I had good jobs. I was a high achiever. In that sense, I ran 2 pubs, like from the age of 18. So it wasn't kind of all doom or gloom. It was always in the background, so to speak, where I didn't feel my mind was right. I didn't feel right. There was something kind of missing in me that would lead me back down the path of self-destruction or trying to mask really what was going on. That would be my go-to thing. And that sort of remained a theme throughout my life, you know, doing really good, and then something would happen, and then it would take me back to on this cycle. I call it like my perpetual cycle. So things would be really good, something would happen and start to crumble, then really bad, rock bottom, up down like that. So it was a real kind of emotional roller coaster, and got into unhelpful relationships, or went through a lot of trauma. I saw a lot of things that were quite traumatic and damaging, being in active addiction for many years. You see people die, and you see, people ruin their lives, and the carnage that comes with it. It's never a calm thing. Then this brings me. I was trained started training as a holistic therapist in 2003. So I've been in the wellbeing industry for about 18 years now. I've gained lots of knowledge through my own journey, and then through teaching other people as well. And it's something that I'm absolutely passionate about, is holistic wellbeing, because it saved my life. Yeah. And my spiritual awakening and my spiritual practices, I believe, saved my life. Because
if you don't mind me, what was the first? I always think and this is one of the reasons why it's really cool to talk to someone, because LPT, our whole thing is helping people transform their lives. And even though we use the vehicle of improving their health to do that, a lot of people have to first overcome some big, how can I put it, things that have happened in the past, or past experiences, in order to work on their health. And this is why our whole premise is like mastering you as a whole is a pretty good philosophy, because you're not. It's very easy to always look for the quick fix, right? And like you say, like alcohol, drugs, that can give you the quick fix of feeling good for half an hour or an hour or a few hours, but then the detrimental effects. And it's the same with food, isn't it? Maybe the outcomes are slightly different, but it kind of gives you the same effect. What I find with a lot of the people that we've had massive transformations with over the last 15 years is there's usually been like a point or a time when they're just like, nah, I'm done. Like that, or like someone like yourself, they've found sort of health, personal development, and something is just triggered, and it's just made a lot more sense. And that change no longer requires willpower or self-discipline. It's just like an internal inbuilt, I'm just doing this. Was there a time like that, or did it happen slowly?
So this kind of cycle thing continued for a while, drama, toxic people, and I ended up trying to take my life again in 2015. I'd literally want the world to stop. I just wanted to get off. It's sick of going round in circles. I thought, I'd hit complete rock bottom with it. I thought everyone's just better off without me. I can't seem to get past these hurdles. I do well for a bit, and then it keeps coming round, back around. And I ended up in hospital. Luckily, I survived. I wasn't very happy about that at the time, but I'm extremely grateful now.
Yeah.
And I had to go to a psychiatric hospital for a while. And it was in there I had a spiritual awakening, because I was going to get some food. Basically in there, everything's like plastic, and you can't open the windows because
Right. Okay.
people can escape, etc.
Yeah,
So you're literally kind of locked in a secure unit. I had my big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I tried groups like AA, CA, and started the 12-step program. And so I had my book with me, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I went back to my room and I found a white feather on top of my book, just there. I was like, where the hell has that come from? So I laid on the bed and I thought to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. And I realised I was the only one standing in my way. And it was all about me, my relationship with myself, and my mindset. And I realised I was the only person that could fix this. Not anything outside of me, but what is it already in me. So that became my road to recovery, and I've never looked back.
What was the relevance? Why do you think what was the relevance with the feather? What did that do to trigger? Obviously, so it triggered something, did it?
So I believe in spirits. I believe in angels, and a white feather is a sign from your guardian angel that they're there. So I was like, they're there for me. I've got this. I can do this. And I actually stuck it in my book, and I have it still now to this day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that became the point where I had decided I'd had enough, and I was going to do something about it. And I actually had a dream that all my 4 children were standing around my grave. Wow. And I was like, if I can't do this for myself, do this for my children as well. So yeah, and it became where I began my real recovery. I'd tried different things before. I'd tried things like CBT. I'd tried like the 12-step program. I'd tried loads of things, but I don't think I was ready. I don't think I understood that it was all me. I had to do this from within me. Nothing outside of me was gonna help. So I surrendered my life and my recovery over to the powers that be, whether you want to call that God, the universe. I call it the universe. Love, higher self. That's like whatever.
Yeah, whatever it means to you.
Yeah, whatever it means to you. And the moment I did that, my world began to change, and I did some real deep healing. It was uncomfortable to then face things and people that I'd upset. But what you have to do is you have to accept that you can't change that, and you have to get rid of that guilt. You have to get rid of that shame. You have to go through a process, and it's uncomfortable. And you have to sit with your feelings and your emotions, and you have to go through this. This squirming at some point. It's like, this is horrible. But once you do that and you get over it, you're free. You're free of fear. You're free of shame. You're free of guilt, and you can replace that with love. You can replace that with spirituality, you can replace that with joy. And for me, that's what happened. And it was, it still is an ongoing process. Because spirituality and growth, personal growth, personal development isn't, you don't just go, right, I've done it now, that's it. It's a continuous process until, as our time on this earth, until that ends, we are going to be continually evolving, shedding, growing, changing. It's flow. And once you get into that flow, you stop trying to control everything around you, and go with that flow of life. Understand that we're all one. We're all one. We're all connected. It's that once you understand that and grasp that feeling, and let go of things you can't control. The only thing that you can control is how you react to a situation.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you a couple of questions. So firstly, what were the big? I've got 3 questions. So firstly, what were the big lessons then? So what was the big lesson? Why was it that you had that kind of almost like awakening type transformation, and then and not before? Because obviously you said you tried committing suicide before. I know you said that you just wasn't ready for it. Was there anything else? And also, what were the immediate changes? So in our business, we focus a lot on daily habits with our clients. So rather than saying to people, here's a diet to follow and here's an exercise plan, we just say, no, let's just focus on some really small, simple daily habits that's going to start to improve your life, whether that's to do with your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, and then we'll just keep building on that. Did you literally go like cold turkey, for instance, with alcohol and drugs, or was it a slow process to kind of getting clean?
No, it was just, I had periods of sobriety.
Right.
I had a long period of sobriety, so where I could actually then deal with the deep-rooted emotional traumas that I had experienced, and it's called emotional regulation as well. So I had DBT therapy, which is dialectical behavioural training, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's all about emotional regulation, because what I found was I was an extremely emotional person. I was very sensitive, and I was a lot in my emotional mind rather than my rational mind.
Right.
So
okay.
I was acting irrationally. I was, reacting to situations rather than responding. So that's when it would all be, out of control, kind of elaborate reactions to things. So yeah, I the thing is, I understood about spirituality. I understood about what it was. I didn't really understand how to regulate my emotions, and then that's where I went and got the DBT. That's where I started to understand how the mind worked. I understood how spirituality worked. I understood holistic health. I didn't understand how the mind was working. So I looked a lot into that, and obviously that the mind-body connection that we have. So if we have unresolved emotional stuff, it's going to show up in our physical bodies as well. We could have like lower back pain, and we don't really understand where this has come from. It could be we're storing our emotional pain in our lower backs. It usually means we feel unsupported by life. So this is how it shows up. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent now. I'm not sure. I forgot what you actually asked me.
No, it's great. So yeah, one of the things that I did want to ask, because a lot of our clients, confidence and mindset is a big part of transformation. And one of the things that we discussed before starting is, how do you help people overcome those limiting beliefs like you had? What are your sort of top tips and top strategies for doing that?
Okay, so firstly, you need to become aware of your own bullshit. most definitely. And you need to understand that this is 100%, your healing is 100% your responsibility, and nobody's going to wave a magic wand and do it for you.
That's great advice.
People can guide you, they can help you, but the accountability starts with you.
Yeah.
And I think you're right in saying about these small daily habits lead to big changes. And that's what I started to do. And that's what I teach my clients, is you start with these small daily habits. So you start with daily meditation, you start with affirmations, because if you've got this internal dialogue in your mental mind of limiting beliefs, low self-esteem, I can't do this, I can't do that, oh, there's not enough money, there's not enough this, it's all lack, and it's all like negative self-talk. So you need to address that first and foremost with, so you need to change the way you talk about yourself, change the way you talk about other people. Language is really important. And I listen to language a lot, and I listen to what my clients are saying about themselves and what they're saying about life, because where our attention goes, that's where the energy flows. And what you are saying, what you're reading, looking at, speaking, the words that are coming out of your mouth, and your attitude, that's what you're going to get more of. So if you're feeling there's not enough in the world, there's never going to be enough for you. And if you have an abundance mindset of, I'm grateful for what I have, you're going to get more of that. And it's about changing your mindset completely. You need to do a complete 360 on that.
So we'll delve a bit deeper into that. And so, because ultimately it comes back to sort of self-awareness, right? It comes back to understanding who you are, understanding why you have the thoughts that you have, but also understanding that you do have those thoughts, and not going through life, like you say, being reactive, but not realizing that actually there's a reason for that. And so if I would, like, one of our clients typically would come to us and they would have limiting beliefs like, I'm never going to lose weight, I'm never going to get the body I want, I'm never going to get the job I want. What's the first sort of top tip that you would say? Well, obviously you've said number one is stop bullshitting yourself, basically. And so would you say to action that, could we recommend sort of to our clients journaling, and what sort of recommendations do you give to people to actually start to take action on that? Because that's easy to say, isn't it? It's really easy to say, like, stop bullshitting yourself. Really hard to do. And it's always like you said, it never stops either. Like, even if you're on a sort of personal growth journey, you're always working on that.
So I would then say, okay, so say, like your example, someone is in that mindset that, I'm never going to get to my goal, I'm never going to lose weight. So they said, well, if that's what you keep telling yourself, you're never going to do it. So then I would look at mindset around affirmations. So I get closer to my goals every day. Things like learn to love the body as it is as well. So it's about loving your body as it is, and not hating on yourself. So then it would look at the way that you like self-love and self-acceptance. Look at that. Definitely get the affirmations in there, and then write some realistic goals. But you don't just write the goals, and then you write the goals, and then you write a time frame, and then you write the steps of how you're going to get there. So what are the 3 things you're going to do each and every day to lose weight, to get to the body that you feel comfortable in.
If anyone listening is not completely clear on what you mean by the affirmations, what would be an example of doing affirmations?
Okay, so affirmations are like positive phrases that we would use every day. So I have a lot of affirmations and mantras that I say. So in the morning, I will decide how my day is going to be. So I'll get up and I'll meditate, and I'll say some mantras. Be like, yeah, today is a good day. I'm going to have a productive day. So it's that positive self-talk. So where I would say, like, I get closer to my goals every day. I love my body and accept it as it is. So then they could say these phrases in the mirror. The mirror work's really powerful.
And so, and just to kind of elaborate on that, one of the benefits of that, because one of the things I always find, and I actually did a podcast on, I did a whole podcast on trying to sell people personal development. Because I don't know about you, that you kind of find a lot of people think as soon as you start talking about affirmations and meditation and spirituality, they think that you're this crazy, like woo-woo person. And, so one of my sort of sales processes to doing that was like, listen, you're alive, you're breathing, you've got a job, you have kids, you've come to LPT to lose weight, you're already on the journey, you're already wanting to improve yourself.
Yeah.
So just because something might be different and it might be a strategy that you've not tried before or you've not thought about before, if you're going to be on that journey, why not get bloody good at it? Why not get better at it? Do you find that a lot? Do you get that kind of?
Okay, so I find that people are sometimes reluctant to invest in themselves, and I call it investing.
Okay.
Because and I'm going to use this analogy because I want people to kind of see what I mean. So you're happy to go out on a Friday or Saturday and spend £100 a night on getting pissed and putting powder up your nose. Some people do, some people don't, right?
Yeah. And
you'll buy a pair of designer trainers for £100. So say that's a week. So then that's like £200 in your week, yeah? Or like, and you'll buy expensive handbags, expensive shoes. You'll get fake nails put on.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, not you personally. Okay, but you won't invest in your health, in your holistic health.
Yeah, why is that?
Why? Yeah, and this is something that I kind of like want people to respond to this question. Why? Why would you rather do that and drive around in a flash car, but you won't invest in your mind and your body?
What do you think the answer to that question is, Jen?
Because it's uncomfortable.
You have to tell the truth.
So these things are superficial and they keep us comfortable.
Yeah,
and they keep us comfortable and they keep us safe, and that's how our ego wants us to be. But doing something that requires change and effort is alien to some people and it scares them.
No, I agree. I completely agree. It's the first time I probably spoke to anyone about it.
Okay.
Without actually, I think it is. And I think it's just an interesting conversation because I've been through the journey. I think there's an element of whether you're an open-mindedness person or a closed mind. Obviously, I don't know if you've ever read Carol Dweck's mindset book, but she talks about how people are either closed-minded or open-minded.
Yeah.
It's not as black and white as that, but there's an element of some people are more open-minded. And if you are more open-minded to try new things, and obviously it gives you opportunity to at least experience it and then say no to what didn't work and yes to what does. But I think so. Going back to the limiting beliefs again, what are the most common limiting beliefs that you found people tend to sort of struggle with or have that lead to the biggest breakthroughs?
So I'm not good enough is one of them. It's probably the biggest one. They see other people achieving and doing things and they feel that they can't do them. And I'm like, well, why not? They're just a person just like you. And then the only difference is their mindset. So and another one is I'm not good enough. So I'm not good enough for that person. I'm not good enough for that job.
So a lot of these come back to self-worth, basically, a lack of self-worth.
I find that they all come back to either self-worth or self-esteem, because they are two kind of different things, but the same, if you know what I mean. So self-esteem would be how we feel about ourselves, so like our physical appearance and emotional appearance, and then our self-worth is like what we're worthy of. So it's like people say that I don't deserve to be happy, I don't deserve to have abundance, because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think particularly being in the sort of weight loss, body transformation space, we get a lot of applicants. We do like an application process for people to come into our programs. Okay. And, I read through all the applications, and, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I'm never going to achieve this or that. And it's pretty sad, because you know as a coach that they can do it, but you can't plant that seed into someone's head. The only way you can do it is literally coach them through the process, right? And it kind of all comes back round to the whole self-awareness, personal development, working on yourself, telling the truth, not believing all the beliefs that you have. Do you do much work on beliefs, Jen?
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah. I do beliefs and beliefs about beliefs. Where have your beliefs come from? Are they your beliefs or are they someone else's beliefs? I go quite deep into that. We do a whole section on beliefs and belief busting.
What beliefs sorry, Karen?
Often some beliefs are passed down through generations, so they're inherited just from learned behavior from our parents and our grandparents.
That's pretty eye-opening, right? When you hold a belief that you realize that is based on not good or nothing of substance.
And then it's like, so I would say, like, well, what is your belief about that? Where does that belief come from? How do you feel about that belief? How does that belief make you feel? Does that align with what you think and feel? And usually it doesn't. Usually people are living lives that aren't even in alignment with their own true selves. So then, then it does come back to that, finding your true authentic self. So I do a lot of work around that. What makes people tick? What do they really want? What do they desire? How do they want to live? And it's all about creating that. And it's about giving them permission to own that. Because often I work with people who are living lives to please other people, and people pleasing is one of the things that is going to drain the hell out of you, is living your life and making decisions based on what other people think or feel.
Yeah, we see that a lot. That's one of the things that I've noticed, and not to discard the guys, but we work with mainly women anyway, but a lot of ladies, it seems to be a big factor. Do you think a lot of it is to do with the way society's changed over the last sort of 50, 60 years? Because that seems to be, to me, it is like, if we rewind 60 years ago, society was a little bit different. Men were sort of typically the ones that would go out and earn the bread, and the woman would be at home and sort of, look after the house. And it seems that has moved on. Women are now expected to work, but they also may be expected to carry on doing all the things that were expected of them 50, 60 years ago by their mothers. And so when it comes around to like losing weight and getting healthy, they're so stressed because they're trying to keep on top of the housework, trying to look after the kids, trying to work on the business. And so it's almost like there's, have you found that?
Yeah, I found that within myself as well. So I was nodding away when you were talking there, because it's like, because I'm a mum. I run a business. I haven't got a partner at the moment, so I haven't got that stress. But there is all these different hats as a woman you have to wear. And it's like, when I was in a long-term relationship, it's like, well, I've got to be a partner, I've got to be a mum, I've got to be a businesswoman, and I've also got to be me. And that's
the big one, right? Are you? That's a question that anyone listening to this, like, are you allowing time to be you? That's, I think, particularly for parents, that's because you can define yourself as a mum, can't you? You can define yourself as a dad or as a husband or a wife, but you know, when are you? When are you getting to be your best you?
Yeah, and it's really, really important that we acknowledge ourselves when we're scheduling time, and when we're thinking about what we need to do of a week or in a month. We need to have that alone time, and that time just to be us, outside of a relationship, outside of work, outside of being a parent. You know, whether you're a man or a woman, this is not gender specific. It's just each individual being. It's important that we connect with ourselves. And you know, I do that through like exercise or walking in the woods or meditation, and I just have that quiet, peaceful, tranquil time. And it's so important. It's where we can reassess like how we're feeling, and yeah, just allow ourselves to kind of just breathe and reset.
We have 5 daily habits in our level 1 coaching program, and one of them is decompression, and having a daily habit that allows you to decompress, allows you to be you, whether it's doing a breathing drill, whether it's doing some meditation, you know, or whether it's just reading a book, or just allowing you just some time. And we've basically created a scoring system as part of the habit. So you get 2 points for each habit, and we get people to fill this in on our 6-week program. And the decompression habit is always the one that's the least scored. You know, people always put in their work first, their boss first, their children first, their partner first, the house first, and never not themselves first. It's something that we see time and time again.
Yeah, I totally agree. We do quite different things, but similar, if you know what I mean. So mine's based around like personal coaching, and then yours is to do with like fitness, but also you've got I love the fact that you've got the mindset and that in there as well, because that's so important that we because the mind and the body, they go together. You can't concentrate on one without the other.
So obviously you're sort of a spiritual coach, and like we had a quick sort of catch up before this, and I was sort of saying, you know, our 3 pillars at LPT are physical health, emotional health, mental health, or mental performance. And you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to chat to you is because the spiritual side of things sort of delved in, but it's just not something that I've gone deep enough to feel like I could start to talk or coach my clients around. And so how do you define sort of spirituality? What does that mean to you? How do you sort of describe that to people?
Spirituality means to me is living in alignment with my true self. So it's living consciously on purpose. It's coming from a place of love and compassion, rather than fear or jealousy and hatred, or you know, looking at the world like that. So you would come from a place of love and compassion, and it's about honoring all beings as one.
Nice. Okay. And so as a spiritual coach, what does that entail? What does that look like?
What do we, how do I work with clients?
Yeah. What are the sort of typical outcomes, or, you know, if you, without using the word transformation too much, like what's the transformation people go through when they, you know, obviously we know your story. So what?
Yeah. So I work with people quite similar to myself. I find that I attract people that they not necessarily have gone to the lengths that I went to, or the depth that I went to, but I do work with people that are highly sensitive, that have been through a lot, and really don't have much faith in themselves.
Okay.
So and it's I always teach people that, you know, whoever you're looking up to people and comparing yourself to other people, you know, that's just a complete waste of time, because everybody's journey is completely unique. And, you know, you're looking at other people, you're comparing your beginning to their middle. And it's like, you know, you can't do that. Or, you know, they've gone, you don't know what other people have gone through to get to where they are. So there's no point in looking at that. You just have to concentrate on yourself fully and wholly, and treat yourself with love and compassion, and be gentle with yourself as well. It's like we're all human, and we've made mistakes, we've done things that we're embarrassed of, and it's just like, just come on, learn to let it go. For me, acceptance is a massive thing that I teach, and it's just like acceptance, because you just can't change anything that's happened. And if you're living in the past, you know, you're going to be depressed and miserable. And if you're living in the future, you're going to be anxious and you're going to be worrying. And it's about bringing that in. It's about coming home to yourself and just living in the present moment. So I teach a lot of mindfulness.
Yeah, well, I think
that's my spiritual coaching.
That's a really good, just to sort of, you know, the last sort of 5-10 minutes. You know, we're obviously going through a crazy time right now.
Yeah.
I think there'll probably be a lot of people listening to this that everything you've just said will, you know, could resonate quite strongly. Some people a lot more than others, and stress, anxiety, depression. You know, like obviously, like you said, like comparison. These are all things that I think a lot of people are really trying to work towards. And I mean, are you finding, well, quickly, just on the subject of comparison, why do you think that is, Jen? Is social media such a blame to this, or is there more to it than just blaming?
Gosh, social media, I think, has had a humongous impact on everybody's self-esteem. Yeah, because we are faced with, social media is a very busy place now, and we are faced with people on, so let's talk about Instagram briefly, people with filters, these people with these perfect bodies, and men and women, when we're looking at fitness stuff on Facebook, for instance, we are faced with these drop dead gorgeous, perfect bodied people doing fitness, and then it's like we look at that and go, oh, and then we look in the mirror and go, oh shit. And you know, that then it gives us this false reality of what a normal body, and you know,
the funny thing is
normality.
we just spent the last sort of hour talking about the importance of being your most authentic self and living yourself, and the moment you mentioned filters, I was like, that pretty much goes against everything that we've just talked about, right?
And people put their good bits on. Come on, we all do it. I'm not going to say. To be honest, I do share on my social platforms quite a lot about my personal journey and my bad days, because I do believe in showing up, and I sometimes go on lives with, you know, looking like I just crawled out of a bush because I don't care. I don't care anymore, because I used to. I wouldn't go out without makeup. I'd be like, oh no, because they might judge or blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like, you know, I'm just me. I'm going to show up as myself, flaws and all. I sometimes forget what I'm saying on my lives, and I'm like, oh, I'll see you later or something like that. And it just, but I just show up as me. And I think that is really important to, you know, don't try and be perfect and polished. Just be you. And social media, we're always putting on our best bits and all our achievements. So you're scrolling through, you're seeing like, oh, you know, got this job promotion, they started a business, they've got this, they've got that, and it's not real. It's not their reality. I'll call it less show reel. So you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's show reel. Basically. And that's not helpful.
No. How do you recommend people think about what they're seeing on these platforms then?
I would say think about, the words that I've just said, that it's not reality. People are going through their own personal struggles, internally, externally, and you don't know what goes on in somebody's life. So
I think, I think
it's
also when you
detachment from it for me.
I think I don't know, but I think when you're in a sort of business like we're in, I think it's probably easier to actually be more authentic. I don't know if you agree, in the respect that you've got more of a, I guess, to some extent, more of a purpose. You can talk about life, you can talk about your journey, particularly if you're in the health wellness space. That's kind of what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
And also, when you do start to do that, it's like a bit of a therapy for yourself, right? Because, I used to do a lot of emails and blogs, and that for me was my sort of therapy. More recently, since lockdown, been doing more of these podcasts and sort of talking's been my therapy. And it's not therapy and that I need therapy. It's the understanding what's all that crap going on in your head and getting it out there and just having good conversations as well. But I kind of think about people that maybe aren't in that space where if they just showed up in a live, I don't know. I mean, maybe they certainly feel good if they just was honest and wasn't having to put all the filters out there and wasn't having to make everything be like a show reel.
I think in business, whatever business you're in, you need to have a personal element to that business. I'm not talking about big corporate businesses or anything like that, because that's something I know nothing about. I'm talking about like independent businesses. I'm talking about small to medium businesses. I think there needs to be a face and a person, or people, a team. There needs to be that behind the business, and I think it's important to show that and to have a human factor to a business. The people behind it, the reasons why they've started that business. I like to know stuff like that. It's probably because I'm a coach and I like to know the reasons why and delve deep into people. Is why I think it's important to have that human side to a business, especially if you're on social media. So it's like, have a post of like, this is the face behind the business, and just bring that element to it.
Well, I think it adds an element of meaning, doesn't it, for people coming to you, because if they know your backstory, like, you've got a strong backstory. Most people know what my backstory is, and and so you're going to somewhere for more than just like for us, it's not just about just going to normal gym. People know we've got our strong philosophies, we've got our coaching approaches, and there's we really, really, truly want to see, I'm not dissing other gyms, but we truly, truly want to see transformation. It makes my day when I sort of see amazing results and hear about people's stories. It's what makes our job truly fulfilling, right? Being a coach.
See, and that is, what you want about a gym, isn't it? Really, what you want from a gym, because it isn't just about going to get fit. That's probably why, some people try and fail when they just go to a massive chain gym and just try and do, just say, all right, I'm in the gym, and they haven't got any of that other support behind it. But going to a place like yours, you've got that whole support there, which I think people will be more likely to succeed and have that transformation when they've got that support with the mental aspect of it as well.
Yeah, it's certainly working well. Hopefully when we can reopen, it will continue working well, reopen soon. Well, it's been really awesome to talk to you, Jen. I hope everyone that's been listening have enjoyed it as well. And so just before we go, so you've got a podcast that you're launching very soon, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
In lockdown, I've started a YouTube channel and I've teamed up with another therapist, and we've started a podcast called That Inner Voice, and we will be launching next week. So at the end of June. It's all around mental health, Matters of the Mind, where we delve deep into personal stories of addiction, sexual abuse, domestic violence, body image, or you name it, we're going to be delving deep into it with that podcast.
Wow, that's exciting. You've been enjoying that?
Absolutely loving it. Yeah. I'm off to do an interview with a lady this afternoon.
Cool.
Via Zoom. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So excited to get it out there.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll put we'll get the links to that, and we can put that in our show notes, and then people can find you. And is there anywhere else you'd like people to go, or anywhere else, people can find out more about you?
Yes, certainly. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Lunar Spirit Wellbeing.
Is it spirit or spirit?
Spirit. So
Spirit.
Lunar, Spirit Wellbeing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube as well.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Well, again, thanks again for your time, Jen.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing some of your episodes as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.